Well, the surprising thing about our, pre-episode chatter is that you're the one that brought up eco-terrorism, not Belvin.
Yeah, actually.
I would have expected it the other way around.
And we're gonna have to cut this entire bit because
in Minecraft,
the government
of course,
could use it against me.
Yeah.
In Minecraft, obviously.
In Habbo Hotel, you're going to do eco-terrorism.
I'm gonna do Habbo Hotel terrorism.
I'm going to grief Exxon.
Grief Exxon's Minecraft server. It's such a in Minecraft is such an obnoxious turn of phrase. I see how it popped up, but I heard in Russia they actually arrested some kid for saying he was gonna blow up the FSB building in Minecraft, and they just arrested him.
Oh my God.
And I was like, fucking good. That phrase needs to stop. It's fucking annoying.
I'm gonna go into the ExxonMobil Discord server and post a bunch of hardcore pornography.
We should go in Second Life and protest outside of the ExxonMobil.
That's a poll.
Yeah, that's a good one. Amazon Union networking in Second Life.
I was trying to think of a virtual world where you could actually possibly bomb it.
It's called the metaverse, and it's the future.
It's called Snow Crash.
Yeah, I don't think we should bomb the metaverse because all those metamates over there at Meta are just working so hard,
I think that truly it's the most expansive idea of our time. What if browsing was a video game is such a powerful, revolutionary idea.
What if meetings...
The fuck are you saying?
World of Warcraft.
Yeah, elaborate on that.
Welcome to 30-Minute Worlds. On this podcast, we make up a fictional world in around 30 minutes or so. Sometimes it's fantasy, sometimes it's sci-fi, sometimes it eludes any genre pigeonholes.
Sometimes it's very depressing.
Sometimes it's deeply saddening.
Yeah, sometimes we don't want to take it there, but we take it there.
No, surely that won't happen this time.
What if we only picked...
We already talked about metaverse.
What if we only picked positive words for the prompts?
This episode, by the way, is coming to you literally hot off the presses. We recorded it today, and we released it today. So you're welcome.
We are recording it today. We will release it today from our perspective.
They're listening to it now. So don't say we are recording it. We recorded it and they're hearing it.
We released the episode 40 years ago.
No, the only thing we need to clarify is that I recorded my dialogue.
Yeah, responding to Melvin's dialogue a week ago. He tragically died, but he recorded a good 40 or so more episodes of dialogue just for him.
I did die.
Yeah. He predicted his own death also in most of the dialogue. Yeah, it was astounding, actually.
What was interesting in that Belvin killed himself by being stabbed in the chest with a penknife 37 times.
Yeah, he predicted the number of times. It's truthfully amazing how someone so powerful and so psychically potent wasn't able to prevent their own death, but that's kind of like a Jesus type thing, He was
telling me he was going to astral project and try to fight Muhammad. And
he was going to fight Muhammad. Yeah. I hope that goes well for him. He's probably fighting Muhammad right now in the title bout in heaven. And I've looked at this highly scientific method we have for determining who the lore lad's going to be. And I'm happy to say the lore lad is Daniel this week.
Ooh. On the whims of Walter. Okay, sure.
Well, I rolled a 2, so that's you. But
all right, what are the what do you got for me?
Only positive words.
We could try that.
We can give it a shot. Why not?
Only positive words.
Okay. This might be hard for me. Hang on.
Yeah, I don't have any positive words.
Oh,
my
personally
word is clean.
No one ever told me.
Clean. All right.
Mm-hmm. Clean.
Very, very positive crew we've got here today. Very, very happy, optimistic.
Come on, Chessman. I'm putting you in front of me.
Oh no, that's bad because I just looked at one. Actually, no, I can't do this one because we did juice before.
We did do juice before.
Is juice a positive word,
we're saying,
inherently?
Hey, look, if you're juicy, it's positive. I gotta say.
Yeah, I guess that's. I guess that's true.
My prompt word is fun. And then Chessman, if your prompt word is good, then the prompts will be good, clean, fun.
Typically, it'll be clean, fun, good. Actually,
actually, I think you should pick that because I'm excited of the world that we build. That's good, clean, fun.
Oh my god!
I don't think "good" is actually a good word, but it is the best word that I have come across so far. So fine, I guess it's good. I guess it's good, clean, fun.
Don't do this to me.
Hell yeah, good, clean, fun that's the name of the.
Look,
those
listen,
are your prompts.
Podcasts are in a perpetual state of becoming, and we are becoming good, clean, fun right now.
Podcasting is basically, I mean, like you look at podcasts, other world building podcasts, it's a cesspool of degeneracy,
including our
what if
podcast.
people were half dragons? Yeah, what if people were half dragons, half humans? What if orcs were real? Awful degenerate questions. Like Gotham City, continually rotting before our eyes, and we have an opportunity to be Metropolis, to be good, clean, fun here on 30-Minute Worlds.
Oh boy!
Okay, never. I didn't follow the much. Okay,
yeah. Well, talking about
there.
degeneracy, our podcast is a shining point of light in the darkness.
A city on a hill.
How about good, clean? So I am like kind of envisioning like a utopian society that is trying to like actually better the world. And you said city on a hill. What about like this could be like a planar thing or like a far future like sci-fi thing. There could be like a what would you call like like High Charity, like it's a city ship, like
city ship
that is like basically traveling through like a universe or like a planar world that's like actually trying to like make it a better place. Like they're like ending wars and stuff like that. Like.
What if there are multiple factions of these Templar types? One that wants to clean, like wants to purify.
Well, like, they could be like spreading like it could be like green energy technology. They're like setting up infrastructure for like developing worlds and stuff.
I'm on the wavelength though, but Bell, I'm on the wavelength. So you have a good, a clean, and a fun.
Mm-hmm.
What's the good? What's the good flag?
We can get back to good later, but
that
fun.
Seems like the hardest one to do.
Clean and fun
nebulous.
are clean and fun oppose each other. Clearly.
I mean, good could be like
I don't know what dipshit gave us good as a word, but
what if this is a place where this is a theoretical plane or something that a wizard built or a god built, where evil has been eliminated? There is no evil. There's no like darkness in the heart of man anymore. There's no cosmic evil pulling at the strings of things, but there's still bad stuff that happens. I mean, there's still like if people go to war, I think people would still like go to war sometimes, or like they're. I don't know.
Oh,
people
actually,
are greedy.
Are you describing the world?
Yeah.
What if this is a plane that's been created by a wizard? But he's hands off, and these like cities are correcting agents within the world. Like they are like his pieces that keep it good, clean, fun.
Well, what about this? What about so there are worlds created by wizards. No good evil dynamics. Like wizards made these worlds without caring about that shit.
Probably sure.
And angelic entities are coming in and trying to quote unquote clean it up, like trying to impose their sense of good on it. I think that's an interesting conflict. Like the sort of like planar shifts you were talking about.
I like a world where there's no evil, and I'm going to push for it because I think we could make some interesting world. That certainly fits the fluff word of good pretty well, but Belvin's idea is a competing idea, and as always, it comes to Daniel, the lore lad, to decide what's going on.
I mean, well, I don't understand where the conflict is going to come from if there's like not any element of like.
Look, if evil did not exist, people would still want different things. Okay.
Yeah.
For instance, we have the other two things, clean and fun. Being clean and having fun are both two opposite, are sometimes very opposed ideas.
I would say.
For instance, like mud wrestling, not clean, lots of fun. Reading a textbook.
Yeah, this is a world where there's
Clean,
the only form of entertainment
good,
is wet
not
t-shirt
fun.
contests and mud wrestling, and there's two purist factions.
I just think it's kind of an abstract concept to say, like, here's a world where there's conflict and difficulty, but not evil.
People would have conflict still.
That's just an interpretation of our world without a priori morality, which is the world I live in. So what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, pretty much exactly what Belvin said, yeah. I don't.
You're just being Catholic. You're just being like, what if there weren't a metaphysical force in this world? What are you talking about?
Evil doesn't exist because good doesn't exist. Let's end the conversation about that. Let's just say that everyone is fine.
A world of wizard pocket dimensions where fucking Saren Templars bust in or like, we are going to make you good, and all the wizard fiefdoms are like, what the fuck are you doing? No.
Yeah,
and there's
Belvin just sold me. I like that one. Yeah.
Okay, so they come from outside. They're like these this outside force. They're not native there.
Well, if they're angelic beings, they could be like the wizards that created this world did so in defiance of the gods of their world, and these are agents of those deities to impose like, oh, you need to be doing this specific kind of morality to be good.
That makes a sort of sense. Like the wizards come from a world where there's like strong, good, evil D&D-esque like morality forces at play, and they just wanted to get out of town, so that they've set up sort of like a pocket dimension. I'm thinking of it as like a community. Like there are multiple wizards who have parallel pocket dimensions next to each other.
Yeah, they each have their own little realms. Like that are all that they can get. They've set up. You can
it's
cross
like a
between
cluster,
them
like
because
an
they're not.
archipelago.
It's like a bunch of little bubbles kind of bumping up against the edges of one another.
Yeah. In Arcana space.
I like that, and it's not just like a flat 2D like an island chain. It's like 3-dimensional, like like an abstract space. Okay.
Let's not get too 3-dimensional because we do want to sell this campaign book later. We know we'll be able to print it.
The alignment system is good and fun.
There's a
or the two
Z-axis.
or clean and fun.
No, that's the lawful chaotic thing, actually. Right?
Yeah. It's clean, fun, good, evil.
Yeah.
And evil. It's clean, fun, good, and like wizard. I guess not evil.
In this case, I would say I think in the universe that they are trying to leave, there is good evil, but we can maybe get to evil later. I just want to focus on the
angels.
good.
So the angels intervened here. I think it'd be funny if they did intervene here because not because they have to police every world, but because this pocket dimension, for some reason, is probably like it has become the largest population of people. Like in the like it's huge, and the angels looked and they're like, "Where did this come from?" Like it's like the number 2 size dimension in the world, and no one's in charge of it but one wizard, basically.
Yeah, I think there would be a lot of souls there, and they want to come purify those souls.
Yeah.
I mean, if you live in like D&D world and you could just go somewhere where Asmodeus doesn't have any power, why the fuck wouldn't you?
Well, if it's D&D world, theoretically, Asmodeus would have power because he could destroy the guy.
Asmodeus is not canon in this world.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying.
Anyway, we could say that the reason there's so much population in these pocket dimensions is that the wizards like set the time angle. So like a lot of time passes and whole generations come to be, and like there are 2 centaurs, and then there are like 1,000 centaurs, and
sure, yeah, why not? Wizards always be on that timey-wimey bullshit.
What if it's all centaurs? What if none of them are human?
Let's not do this
a
again.
combo.
Okay. I don't know.
Let's not go on this train of like let's make a bunch of animals for this world. Let's
actually, it wasn't Belvin who suggested it, so I think we should give it some.
Okay, well, you can suggest.
No, I don't think we have to do that.
I figured out the hold on. Let's just really quick. I figured out the alignment. It is clean, fun, but then the other axis is uptight and cool. I think that's where it is.
I do imagine this dimension as like a boarding school dimension, basically, or like everyone's kind of chums with one another. The conflict that arises is through games and competition, usually, like not for like resource type shit.
Yeah, it's a world of like
cool.
It's a bunch of intellectuals like that created a world where they can just like be away from meddling and evil and just share information and resources and like make an ideal society.
Well, no, I would see that being like maybe one of the dominant modes, but there would just be stuff kind of sprawling out there, like their fields, because he wanted to have fields and he put some centaurs in them, and over time they've just like made their own society.
Yeah,
like,
I think we'd have both for sure.
Yeah, it's not manicured. It's like they're sort of sprawling.
The only two races, man and centaur, and their eternal conflict.
You're really seizing on this.
It's not about the centaurs.
No.
Yeah, like don't be weird about it, man. They just are centaurs.
Okay. I just like centaurs. I think they're cool.
They're just there.
The wizards probably have some issues with like they'll do this. They'll make like a race of centaurs, and they'll leave them to their devices, and they'll come back, and they'll be like, the centaurs are like, oh God, you're back, and the wizard's like, oh okay, hold on, no, wait a second, no.
You've been worshiping me for 20 generations.
We made a compact around this world to protect everybody from gods, and this isn't happening.
Yeah, no, we're not doing this. Here's how to irrigate your fields. Go away.
Yeah. I like the angels too stepping in and being like, all right, thanks for making all this, we'll take it from here, and then the wizard being like, no.
yeah. I think that's very much the vibe. It's like, oh yeah, I mean, you want us to be here,
you
right?
did not create this thing, I did.
Maybe. So we're talking about like if we do want to make like good faction, clean faction, fun faction of angel invaders, good could be the ones that kind of want to like take over and say like, yeah, we'll take it from here. Clean can be the ones that try to come in and purify, and then fun are the jesters.
How do they purify the land?
So there are different ways of doing that, right? Like maybe it's like moral cleaning, maybe it's like literal cleaning where they want like everything to be very tidy and orderly. They're like the order-based faction.
Right. Well, you can have, and let's go into this setting's alignment chart. Of course, where good is uptight.
Yeah.
You can have fun. You can have fun that is uptight. You can be clean and uptight, right? It's like, so they're just trying to decide. They just want to impose their specific vision, whatever their vision is. It could be clean or it could be fun, but it's not cool. Whatever it is, it's definitely not cool at all. It's like,
I think, the wizard, I feel bad for him too, because it's like he just wanted to create a dimension as an experiment where the only change was that cuss words weren't invented. And it turned into the perfect society.
I do think we should specify. I think there maybe was one like grand architect wizard, but there are others involved in this. Like they're running their own
like once
pocket
he
dimensions.
opened up this rip in time space, like lots of other wizards sort of came in, like made their own pocket dimensions. And I think the angel factions, I'm imagining them as like in service of an angelic host. I'm imagining like abstract Bible angels being like the OG angel god that's directing them, like wheels and
with
feathers and wings
and, everywhere.
And eyes.
Yeah, that's cool.
I really like the idea of this original architect wizard who like is this hyper legendary figure because he hasn't actually created anything, just has made the infrastructure and is constantly maintaining it for like the entire course of this grand experiment.
He's just a fucking nerd who's always like adjusting the levels and making sure that's stable.
He did make the magic shield that prevents cuss words from entering the human mind or any conception of them. Like this world has no knowledge of it.
I'll give you that, Walt. We can have that.
Yeah, there's no.
There's no cursing in this setting.
No masturbation.
You can't invoke the gods at all. That's part of the shield.
Oh, that's kind of funny. That's why they didn't know that this world existed. Because Gnome was being like, oh, god damn it. And that usually flags the radar. And so they found out about it after it reached like its population is like 16 billion people just having good, clean fun. And they're like, this is insane. We have to get in on this.
They found like a dark place in like this like sort of like a shadow in the cosmology. And they're like, wait, holy shit. That's where it's all going? Oh my God.
They're like, where's all this spiritual energy coming from. We haven't detected a rise of oaths being said about God.
I like that. Yeah.
This is kind of funny too, because I think the angels, there's an element of they don't think good, clean fun is possible without worship of God or without them, being there.
If the architect of these, like the system that allows these worlds to exist, implemented a prohibition on foul language and on like invoking the gods, would he have put any prohibitions on like violence, like
drinking? Well, he maybe not violence, but maybe he would create prohibitions that.
What about prohibition on murder?
Well, I don't think. Yeah, so people's minds might be being controlled. Like, there's no drinking, there's no swearing.
I like the idea of it being more variable, wizard pocket to wizard pocket.
Maybe they
I could see
can set the settings basically.
Yeah, but they can't set the master settings, I think.
Okay, I don't like more restricted master settings than the swears.
It doesn't make sense for one wizard to be like, yeah, I want murder to be allowable in my pocket dimension, even though he said that we can't do it.
Well, I think it muddles the setting to have the wizard setting also be like a teetotaler.
Okay, stop. I'm gonna say something here. I think it muddles the setting to have 1,000 different pocket dimensions that are also connected to this one, and I think we should have one pocket dimension, maybe with several wizards in it, but one pocket dimension, not different ones.
Why?
Because we would end up getting in the weeds and being like, what's the difference between this one and that one?
Well, just an expansive world. We don't have to fill it in detail. You can just say that there's sort of like a wizard dimension that has like a few different...
I like the idea of having multiple dimensions because it means that some of them can be invaded by these angels and taken over. And then we can see what it looks like under their rule without it polluting the rest of the pocket dimensions.
That is a good point.
I think the landscape is like this, your typical, there is a large, there's a collection sort of in the center of all of this where a lot of wizards have actually come together and collaborated. Because that was the whole point. There's...
The Nexus Hub.
And maybe they are different realms actually, or maybe they used to be, but they're one realm now. They've joined together, and but due to maybe certain differences in opinion, or maybe wanting to experiment within this grander experiment, there are offshoots that exist.
Yeah,
it could be
I think I support this.
Yeah,
and I think the architect built the Nexus and made the architecture for all this possible.
Yeah,
and then. If you're in the Nexus dimension, wherever that is, that's the one that's kind of like the most massive, and that's the one that kind of plays by his rules pretty much 100% of the time. Then you offshoot from that, and the further away you get from that, the more variance you're allowed to have. I think that makes sense.
Yeah,
that's cool.
But in kind of the RuneScape Grand Exchange of this realm, there's no cursing allowed, and you have to not drink and do a bunch of rules that this guy made up.
Well, so back to that, the reason I don't like that is because the whole conflict is the angels coming in imposing rules versus the wizards who are just trying to be away from that morality bullshit. So having the wizard be the morality bullshit.
I think we can split the difference here, and I don't want there to be any master prohibitions really beyond the two that you can't swear because I think it's funny, and the other one being you can't invoke the gods because that's a safety thing.
Yeah, that makes sense in the lore. Yeah,
but then the other sort of offshoots have their own kind of prohibitions on different things.
Yeah, metaphysical rules that they've set up because. Or maybe there's a bald wizard and he says a world where everyone is bald and doesn't know what hair is.
Maybe there's a world where meth is air,
Of course there was.
Hell yeah.
I think the angels maybe they should intervene in that one because people are getting a little too crunk.
Beeline towards that one, oh no.
It might not be that murder is impossible, it's the action is prohibited. It could be that there are automated systems in place of constructs that keep the peace without brainwashing people.
That's not really a good fun because that's imposition. That's lawful fun, But that's kind of like people are doing that just because they comply with the law. Just because the robots will kill them if they.
So
if
this
they
is
kill
why we should
someone.
never make a good setting again, because we talk about morality.
No, okay, we have to talk about it within the context of the world. And as we've established, the axis that we're on currently is clean versus fun. That is the important axis. So if something doesn't fit anywhere on that axis, then it doesn't belong. Like murder actually doesn't belong in the clean fun axis.
Yeah.
Like, it's not fun for anybody, and it's definitely not clean.
I would say murder is generally a pretty dirty activity. Yeah, it's messy.
I guess murder could be fun, like for some people, but individually,
it's fun in video games.
It's true.
How do the angel dimension ships get through? Like, how do they discover it? How do they get through?
That is a good point. I like to think they were ignorant of pocket dimensions as a whole. That this was kind of a side racket that wizards had going on for ages and ages, and
I have an
angels
idea.
found out about it. Go ahead.
What if there was a wizard who got the god complex, and all the other wizards were like, "No, fucking stop it! That's not the point of this thing." And so he got exiled, and he went running to the angels.
A rat.
You got Tattletale?
Yeah, he's the Tattletale wizard.
the rat wizard.
Damn. That's funny.
But even though he did go and tattle, they have still been having trouble getting in because the conditions of this barrier are not such that they will prevent people from entering. It will prevent like ideas of deities from entering. So if you go in, it will like strip that away from you. So if you're an angel and you go in, you forget about your deity when you come in. Like, you check it at the door.
What you're saying is, like, they come in and they are like, they become their own faction once they enter it because they're not tied to the deities anymore?
No.
I don't really...
No. Now, what should happen is that it's easier to enter the further away you are from the Nexus. That makes the most sense, and that allows these fringe worlds to get taken over. The Nexus has all these protections on it that make it harder for people to directly intervene but the angels can work their way toward there by imposing rule on realm after realm.
Good strategy game rule.
I like
and
that.
Also, we can say that it is kind of pretty difficult to get in general, and that's why it's not like the full armies of the angelic host streaming in. You have like these dimensional ships who can come in.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really want to introduce murder or war by angels into the setting, but what would they do to get people...
They don't want to murder or war either.
But how do they convert the setting to like where they're in charge? Because if they just reasonably debate people, I think most people in the setting were fine the way before. So what is their end game to get in charge?
So I think there's an angel host of joy. So the angel host of joy just like gives people a spiritual good time. There's the angel host of cleansing. And I think there'd be some mind influence there where they like, it's not just organic, like you like living in a more orderly, clean society, but they like kind of like have a reality warping thing that's going on where they like kind of just change the way people act and organize. I think it'd be like mental more than like physical call to arms kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think at the crux of this is that it's not necessarily better to be cool and loose or worse to be uptight and full of rules. It's just like they are now this like force of getting people used to rules again in this world where there hasn't been rules. And some of the rules are they're very good. Like, besides there's of course the few rules that are over the entire dimension that are nobody even really thinks about because they've gotten so used to them. And so maybe they can use that as sort of like, oh, well, you do already follow some rules. This is just some more. Like, you come to church every Sunday or something. I don't know.
Yeah, they
and
introduced
it's like,
church.
That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, it's like
just clean.
A lot of the
It's
times it's like a structure thing that was maybe lacking before they're introducing like through mental manipulation creating a more like orderly society.
I hate that we keep talking about mental manipulation.
Well, you either have to have violence or mental manipulation.
No, it could be.
Don't.
So like I think part of it is like we're assuming that humans will act the same as they do now. I want us to suspend our disbelief and say, a lot of the humans, first of all, aren't going to be wizards. They're just going to be people born to this plane. In fact, I would say 99% of them are going to be people just born to this plane that don't really truck with wizardry, and wizards come in and out. They're kind of like these visiting dignitaries that get honored. I want us to suspend disbelief for a moment and just say, if you eliminate cuss words, it will create a race of Narnia-like people that are ignorant of evil and would never commit it. I think that's funny, and I think that's what's happened in this plane. They're kind of like, they're not being manipulated. The conditions of their upbringing were just different due to the rules of the universe. The rules of physics are different.
We're on such a different wavelength right now.
They're not being mentally manipulated or brainwashed by anybody. They're just not as cynical as like humans on Earth would be. They're more good-natured and more like, I don't know.
I'm not saying the wizards are doing it. I'm saying the angels are doing it.
The wizards did do it.
I mean, they created the rules that enabled it, but they're not using magic to like, they used it for the one thing, and the rest just played out.
We shouldn't think like, why wouldn't the people of this world just like rebel or like do stuff like that? Or they're just nice. They're just nice people here. They're different from humans. There's this realm just bred nice people.
Not possible.
How is this not possible?
It is possible. It's just it's hard to.
It's more interesting to me that the angels come in and feel they need to fix things, and they come in and everyone's already like, okay, I love God now.
I think the angels would actually have a very, very hard time trying to get a hold, because they would try to impose these rules, and they would try not impose these rules. They would try to make everybody uptight, and nobody would see the point. So they kind of have to go to ground. They have to kind of be cool as well. You know, they have to sort of very insidiously introduce like how deities can be cool. You know, it's like the youth group. It's like
I think maybe the angels are brainwashing people. I think that kind of makes sense that they would mentally kind of take control in that way.
I hate this.
Oh, dude.
I don't like it. I don't like going to deities are evil.
Well, it's not.
I know that was the whole setup for this world, but it wasn't.
When we said angels are invading, we kind of did go down this route.
They're going to be imposing
how are they invading?
Their vision of what should be. That's sort of the whole.
And if they're not doing it by force, they're doing it
through either cultural or mental manipulation.
Yeah, and culturally, I do think these people would kind of roll over and be like, look, we don't want to offend you. We'll do kind of your visitors here. We'll do, what you want.
I can imagine that a lot of the wizard pocket dimensions, like, if the wizard's a drunk, like, he'll just, like, rub his orbs, and the giant earthquake happens. Everyone's like, what the fuck, wizard? So,
well, there would be some dimensions where the wizards, like, died or forgot about it. And so, like, the people there are just living without.
They're just living in a world, yeah.
Well, they're living in kind of an Eden-like state.
I like that.
I mean, yeah, I think that would be some of the worlds.
I mean, all right, how about this? Again, we can sort of split the difference. I think in some places what you're saying is true, Chess, that they would just roll in, and especially if the wizard's an absentee figure, they'd be amenable to just like...
Oh, yeah, they would be like, are you like wizards? And the angels would be like, yeah, we're exactly like them.
Yeah,
more or less the same thing.
Yeah.
But then on some, if it's more entrenched in like their beliefs, or like it has a wizard that's like particularly involved in the world, they would probably be less receptive to it, and they might have to like get a little more underhanded with what they're doing.
Use their holy magics.
Or they just leave. Magics. Maybe they just leave, like, and just keep pushing towards the Nexus. Like, because that's the ultimate goal, right? Is for them to reach it and then...
Yeah, but they want everything else, too. They don't understand a world where they don't control every part of it, right? That they can. Mm-hmm. Ironically, they're kind of like humans in that way. And the humans here are kind of more innocent or angelic.
I do like the idea that they are entirely ineffectual. Like, all the gains that they make,
well, then what's the conflict?
Aren't actually
what's
ideological gains.
Like,
they're actually getting sucked in. This is like, it's sort of this. It's like a hell for them. Like, they can't make ideological changes in people. They can only make like when they show up and they're like, I'm a wizard, right? They help people, but they don't get worshipped, right? they're just helping people.
Well, I think the end goal would be to establish the angels' rules in the hearts of man, like that being them winning. And
yes,
right.
And I think that the people in these dimensions would be incredibly easy to roll over, some of them, and get them to worship angels. You know, I think it'd be incredibly easy for angels to step in and be like, oh, actually, like, here's in dimensions where there's no wizard, you know, they could kind of like come in and be like, oh yeah, we're kind of the new rules. You know, we inherited
completely
this.
Absentee dimensions where the wizard is
dimensions
gone.
Where the wizard is like, he's going through a divorce and he hasn't shown up in like several months because he's filing a bunch of paperwork back on Earth. And then he comes back and there's like church everyone's like, when are you going to
what
church?
The fuck
he's like,
motherfucker.
I escaped this bullshit.
Yeah, I like that.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, do you want to sing hymns with us? And he's like, no.
Oh god. It's like, don't worry, it's good, clean fun. It's just, you know, we're just showing our appreciation.
And then the wizards who made the Nexus know that this will inevitably introduce like some sort of conflict or religious strife. Maybe not now, but in thousands of years.
Well, they're just afraid of it becoming like back home. They're just afraid of it becoming what they left.
The angels are ruining shit.
I mean, this is their experiment, basically, like to create a better world, and they're afraid of introducing
that. And it's been contaminated. You know? So the wizards outside the Nexus would take outside measures against the angels, ruining their experiment. This is kind of where we get into the
wizards
meta.
Going to kill God.
The wizards building a god-killing gun.
Now we've arrived at familiar, well-trod territory.
Now we're in Trope City.
Unfortunately, that's epic level campaign. Nobody gets to level 20. So
in the sequel, we'll outline the god harpoon and how many d6 damage it does.
All right, well, that seems like a decent place to close out. We're at like 35 minutes.
Oh, well, folks, that's our show. If you like this episode, you can subscribe to us on your podcasting service of choice to get new episodes every Saturday. If you want, go ahead and write us a review on iTunes and share us with all your world-building friends. It really helps us out. Our art is courtesy of the talented and wonderful Shell Tor at Jovial Paradox on Twitter. You can tweet at us too at LoreLads or send us spirited hate mail at 30minuteworlds@gmail.com. Thanks for listening, and as always, happy world building.